One Piece chapter 771. 771 is it's a deep chapter. It's a deep chapter, and I mean, you guys know, like I always find fascination in Oda's understanding of, the human psychology, and what we're seeing with Baby G and just that flashback. She has the makings of what could be a very, very good complementary character, but because One Piece is as big as it is, because it's so grandiose, we automatically know that Baby G is not going to be, brought into the main cast. And it's such a shame because I really feel as if she has a lot to offer character-wise. And the reason why I feel like that is, human beings, period. We have a very primitive need to want to feel wanted, to want to feel loved, to want to feel desired. Most importantly, for us to want to feel needed. And I think I made a joke way back when I first started, covering her character and seeing like a little quirks on feeling needed. I think I made the joke, or I might not have done it, because I'm trying to cut back on some of the, dirty references I make, because I know some of you guys are a bit younger, but Baby G reminds me of that person that you fuck and they catch hella feelings. They catch hella feelings. Like, they don't understand what casual sex means. And, and I can get it, because, sex is a very intimate thing. It's an experience that you're sharing with somebody. You're literally sharing yourself with somebody in the most intimate and vulnerable way possible. And so I say that to say, some people have sex, because of how much of a need they fulfilled in you, even if it's only for a few moments, depending on how long you last, really. But, even if it's, then, because you're feeling that need, you feel connected. And with Baby G, when we get that flashback, and I know somebody's like, good God, Jesus Christ, how the hell can you turn this woman's flashback into something sexual? What the fuck is wrong with you? But nah, for real though, right? Like with Baby G, when you get that flashback and you see like how, her mother was catching all kind of shit. They're like, how can you give birth to her? All she does is eat. She's going to be useless. She's not going to be able to pull her own weight. And now everything makes sense about why she always goes towards men who make her feel needed, make her feel wanted, make her feel useful, because it was men who said that she was useless, and then her mother abandoned her to follow after the men that were telling her that. So I mean, now I see the pattern. And now I get it. And you see that in real life. You see it where, some women have daddy issues, or some people have relationship commitment issues because of stuff that happened to them in the past. And so now we see why this woman, if it means that she can feel useful to somebody, that she can be of use, that, her life can have meaning, she doesn't mind throwing her life away. She, puts the pistol to her head. And at first I'm like, what the fuck kind of dark humor is this that Oda's doing? But what I like is like the internal monologue that she has, where she says, even in death, I can be useful. And it's so crazy because, again, people just have that need to want to fill that hole in others, whether it be physically, or whether it be, damn, that sounds dirty, whether it be physically, or whether it be, just with emotional support. So, I mean, I like that, man. I like how Chinjao's grandson, right? His grandson goes from in the beginning to holding off her advances, basically like this thirsty bitch right here. So all of a sudden he sees what Lao G's trying to do by constantly calling her useful, and says, okay, if she's the most useful woman in Dressrosa, then it's only fitting that I make her my wife. And Baby G just completely falls out. Baby 5 completely falls out. Right? She completely falls out, and it's because she's like, oh my God, I'm going to get married. And, she really reminds me of a coworker I have who is so caught up on the illusion of being in love and the fantasy that she doesn't realize that love is a lot of hard work. And so this is going to be, very interesting how Oda tackles this. Because, I mean, I really like that, because he could have just ran the Baby 5 gag all the way into the ground. He could have ran it all the way into the ground, but Baby 5, I feel like, hasn't been overdone. Now, I don't know what the anime did, but, I mean, in the manga, it doesn't feel like it's been overdone. Now, the other thing, I like how, Chinjao was passing on the torch to his grandson. And what's crazy is, again, this is Oda showing like that next generation is slowly catching up to the previous one. Now, I know Chinjao's talking about how, excuse me, his grandson was able to split the continent of ice using his foot, much in the same way that, Chinjao could do it with his horn. But when, his grandson breaks his horn, he's like, okay, you're ready. You surpassed me. It's kind of like that moment where you finally beat your father in basketball. I didn't have those memories. You guys know that. I didn't really grow up, not really, I didn't grow up with my father, period. But, I remember watching my cousins when I go over to their house, and my cousins would always box with their father. And I remember when my older cousin finally knocked the fuck out of his dad. He finally knocked the fuck out of his dad in a fight, and it was a clean hit. They were boxing. He finally knocked the fuck out of him. And they fought again the next week when I was over there. And my cousin got his ass again. And just the look of acknowledgement that was there. It was just like, oh shit. He's getting older. But the son's also coming into his prime. The son's becoming a man. And so it's that passing of the torch, if you will. So I like that element in there. I thought that was pretty cool that Oda incorporated that. Now, I do got to say this. I do like what Oda's doing here by giving us snapshots of what you see with the Zoro versus Pica fight. But what I found very interesting is how Zoro turns down the help, and Zoro's just like, hey, wait a second. Like, you can save that super punch of yours for something else. Chill out for a second, dude, because I got bigger fish to fry. And he looks over at Pica and he says, I think that big mountain dude, I think he's planning something. I don't know what, but he's planning something. We need to be on guard. So I thought that was interesting. I thought that was pretty cool. But overall, this was a good chapter. Well, I want to ask you guys for the chapter question is, what are your thoughts about Baby 5 and the whole thing about Oda writing her as a character that is not just seeking love, but just seeking acceptance and seeking validation in any way, shape, form possible. How do you guys feel about that? I think that is some dark stuff, and I want to know how many of you guys relate to Baby 5. But, as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, share. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.